Well. I see you took my advice, but you'll still need to keep what was given to you, as the scenes of horror grow even more unimaginable. Prince and Freddy will continue to be your tour guides on this carousel of hell, only as long as you keep your nightlight close by to keep the black-eyed children at bay, the poltergeist calm, and the night crawlers hidden. Hit the lights and sit back as we welcome you to Nightlight, a horror movie podcast.
I'm Prince, also known as Head Knight.
And I'm May. Oh shit! Sorry.
I was gonna introduce you, but I love that you introduced yourself. Yes. Oh my gosh! Keep that in.
Okay.
Because I was like,
let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. Yeah. I'm Prince, also known as Head Knight.
And I'm May, male inadequacy, revenge, catharsis, Schultz.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. How you doing, May?
I am pretty good, which is nice to be able to say. You know, last weekend I started the weekend with 0 girlfriends, and I ended the weekend with 2 girlfriends. So
that's great.
You know, things are coming up Millhouse finally, and
there we go.
I'm always happy to come on the show, so I'm excited I'm here.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you reached out and said, like, can I be a part of the Censor episode? Because I need someone here who thoroughly, like, kind of understands the the video nasties era, and I know your knowledge in this this space is pretty strong. You have quite the infatuation of the macabre, which is a good thing. It's a good thing.
Thank you.
So I appreciate you joining me on the show. Freddy is not here, folks, as you probably have heard by now, or not lack thereof.
He's just
hearing.
being real quiet.
He's just being real quiet right now. Sad boy vibes. But Freddy is not here right now. He'll be on the next episode, where I will not be on the next episode. I'm going on vacation. So Woo. Freddy's going to go ahead and take the reins. I know, well deserved for me. You know what? I deserve it. I'm just calling it now. Freddy's going to take the reins. He'll be joined by Christopher from I Love Horror. Super excited to have those duos being inside of Nightlight, a horror movie podcast. It's going to be a lot of fun. Very, very excited about that. So he'll be covering the next episode with him. So bear with that. But yeah, as for this episode, we are still talking about our Don't Press Play month, which very fun month indeed. This even though we just covered one episode, which I loved it, but the fact that it's like this analog horror and lo-fi-esque type of like sense of brutal catharsis, like it's so much fun. It's so much fun. Like I'm having a blast so far, and I'm really excited for us to continue this month. But the film that we're going to be talking about today, everyone, is none other than Censor, which came out in 2021, and I feel like was a little bit of a sleeper hit when it came out. I feel like it was only inside of our circle. You know what I'm saying, May?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely seems like it didn't reach very far. I don't remember if this got a theatrical release or a limited theatrical release.
Apparently it did, because I do have a box office for it, but it was during COVID. So, and it was like that weird, odd portion of COVID when it was just like everyone was starting to kind of get like their shots and stuff like that, the vaccine.
People were starting to like venture back out into the world a little bit.
It was in that very weird mulling period where folks were just like, oh, we don't need a mask. Oh, we need a mask. It was like one of those. So like, it was still very much a drive-in movie theater type of flick for sure. I remember catching this one with a screener when I did watch it, and I think I watched it at a festival. I want to say it was like at like Fantasia Fest or something like that, or maybe it was South by. I can't remember, but it was one of those festivals that they were doing online, and I remember getting the screener for this one. And when I first watched it, I thought it was just okay.
That's exactly how I felt. I originally gave
Really?
it 3.5 stars when I watched it.
Okay.
And, I think it's one of those movies. I watched it by myself, which is never really conducive to me loving something.
Yeah.
And
Like, it really has to bring you in to not be able to have to talk about it with anybody.
Yeah. And then rewatching it this time, I watched it with my friend Andy, who loves this kind of shit. And she and I were like talking about stuff as we were watching it. She asked me a bunch of questions about the Video Nasties era.
That's fun.
And yeah, I mean, this went up to a 4.5 for me on a second watch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? That's incredible. Okay. All right. So
I
you
also
like
think it would be a perfect double feature with stop motion, which is another movie I adore. Because this is
I
like,
can see that.
Stop motion is artist going mad movie.
One of my
And I love
favorites.
those kind of stories. In this, she's not as much of an artist, but it's still a woman going mad and getting overly absorbed into the media that she's working with. And I don't know. There's something about the two stories that really go well together. So if anyone out there is looking for a companion piece to this, highly recommend Stop Motion.
Stop motion's great. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah, and just like this, what a fucking powerhouse of a feature directorial debut.
Yes.
Because both directors did shorts and stuff before making the two respective movies.
Right.
This is just... I cannot believe a piece of film this confident and assured is from a first-time feature director, and I cannot wait to see what she does next.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what Prano Bailey Bond is going to do. Hearing her interviews and things like that have been really, really nice and refreshing to see. You could just tell, like, she's such a fan. Right? Like, she's such a fan of all of this, and that is so nice to see, where it's just like a fan making movies just because, like, they're a fan, and the movie that they wanted to see wasn't made, so they made it, and that's cool. That's really cool, and that's what I feel like how it should be. It should be this kind of like experience of just making the movie you want to see more than anything.
Yep. That's exactly how I make my music. I don't make music for other people. I make music that I want to listen to. Because why would I expect people to listen to music that I don't want to listen to myself? And it's like, it's great that other people like it. It means a lot to me that people like my music, find catharsis or whatever in it. But I'm making it for me. And I unabashedly listen to my own music all the time.
As you should.
I have
like,
no
make the
qualms
stuff
about
you
that.
like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm not going to make a podcast I don't want to listen to.
Exactly. Like, I listen to Nightlight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I listen to Nightlight. A lot of people find that probably strange, but one, I critique myself extremely hard. I'm my worst critic. So, like, I do it as like a torture mechanism for myself. But like the aspect of it is that, like, I want to make sure that I'm making something that I still enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I listen back to that, and if I get a couple of chuckles again from it, where I'm just like, and I never finish the episodes, but like when I listen back to it, if I get a couple of chuckles of it, I'm just like, okay, I'm still enjoying myself, you know, and like, and it's almost like a reassuring aspect for me that I'm making sure that, like, I'm not just doing this to do this, because when we are doing this, we're kind of putting on a little bit of a character. Like, we're, you know, we're still being authentic, but at the same time, like, there is a flourishment to it. Like, I'm not always like this every single day, or my wife would be so fucking annoyed. But like I do embellish my characteristics a little bit sometimes. But
yeah, you know, it's still stuff that's inside you, and you're accessing it for particular moments.
Exactly. That's a way better way of putting it. But I'm still within this movie, and I'm glad that you're on this episode, because I'm glad that you liked it so much, because I'm still in the okay camp. And I think the reason why is because I kind of wish it was a little something else. I like the aspect of her going mad. I think that works so beautifully for the situation within her life, and losing her sister, and being the censor, and now, you know, picturing her sister in these films and so on. When I first watched it, what I thought the movie was going to be, I thought it was going to be like an actual censor agent who was making their own video nasties. While also, right? Like, so like I thought, and that's what I thought. And I was just like, well, once again, make the movies you want to see, right? So when it wasn't that, I wrote that idea down and I was just like, oh, I think that would also be pretty fun. You know, I think that would be a lot of fun, but I wouldn't say like I'm crazy well versed with the video nasties. Like I do understand that like, yeah, there were 72 movies that were banned and within the BBFC, they kind of had all of these aspects of utilizing this as a tool to initiate how films from that point on, from like what 1915 or something like that, or 1912, I think is when the BBFC was enacted.
Yeah, the BBFC definitely. So that's the British Board of Film Classification. They came into being around the time that movies started becoming a thing. And they evolved over time. And basically what happened was there were obviously a lot of changes in Europe, especially after World War II. And, you know, the 60s, the Summer of Love, all of that stuff that happened in America, some of that spread to parts of Europe. And so you have these countries that are essentially trying to recover from or are still stuck with some fascism going on. And the countries near them, like England and, you know, the UK in general, they are trying to cater both to the people who want to see horror movies, because there are large swaths of people who flock to those. They make money. So they're trying to cater to those people, but also cater to the people who are stuck in this place of moral panic and outrage, who are like, but what about the children? What is this going to do to our children?
And about the children.
You know, the movie is heavily influenced by those ideas. And this mindset of like, oh, we have to protect the children from these things, whether it's sex or violence. In terms of video nasties, it was mostly violence, but there was also plenty of censorship of sexual stuff. And we covered Tenebrae on Pleasers and Punishers back in January for Giallo January, and that was a video nasty. And you know, didn't get released in full for a really long time in certain territories because of that. And it had this notorious reputation.
A lot of Italian horror films were part of the video nasties.
Yeah. And it's really funny because you look at these movies now and you're like, oh, that's fairly tame.
Yeah, pretty tamed.
but back then it was like horrifying.
Very provocative.
To these people. And not these exact people, but these same types of people who approach things from this angle of moral panic and outrage. Those are the same people who, like Tipper Gore in the 80s in the US, who wanted to slap parental advisory stickers on rap records and metal records that were too explicit. And
turns out to be one of the best things ever. It was the best marketing
right?
ever.
Because kids are like, ooh, that's going to be
like,
dirty.
Oh,
or
my
whatever.
parents not going to like this? I want that.
And, you know, then that turned into video game censorship in the 90s, which in turn came back to the idea of movie censorship and puritanical stuff that happened as a result of both Columbine and 9/11. So you have this long legacy of attempted censorship. And like, I'm not even getting into the Hays Code in Hollywood in the mid 20th century that made it so like you couldn't have queer stuff. You couldn't, there were so many things that you just could not do in movies.
Yeah.
And the video nasty era came out of that as well, because all of a sudden people were free to start doing more again. And you also have stuff like the Vietnam War influencing people, and that shit fucked a lot of people up. So you have all of these people making art that is darker, more intense, more violent, more sexual than it had been for a long time. And yeah, it freaked a bunch of people out who responded the only way they know how, which is to try to repress it and suppress it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was such an interesting time, and I think that's why I wanted a little something else from this movie, because like I feel like you've had to go into this film with a little bit of that knowledge, right? Because like you think of the most popular banned movie or video nasty being like Cannibal Holocaust or Faces of Death. Those are kind of probably, out of all of them, will probably be the most popular. But
I would say the most notorious.
Notorious is probably a better way, for sure, because those particular movies wouldn't necessarily people rushed out to go see them after they became available. But let's go ahead and hop into this, because I'm very excited to talk more into our girl Enid, which very peculiar name for me, but
I love the name Enid. Enid,
I like it. I like it. It took me a little bit because I was just like, it's like, is it pronounced just Enid, or like am I like, and it is, yeah. But
I mean, the actress's name, because it's Irish, is pronounced Neve.
Okay, good, because I did not know how to pronounce. I wasn't even gonna try because I did not know how to pronounce that. I was gonna say
Irish names are odd. You've got things like Siobhan, Neve, that are not
Siobhan's
spelled the way you would think.
Yeah, Siobhan's a very, very tough one. Or Saoirse is another one that kills me every time. I'm just like,
you got it, Ireland. It says Sow Rosie. Why is it pronounced
like,
Saoirse?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah, so for her name, I was just like, Secret of Nim? I was like, that's not right. That can't be right. All right. Censor, directed by Prano Bailey Bond, released August 20th of 2021, and this is specifically in the UK, with a runtime of 1 hour and 23 minutes, a budget not found, and a box office at $361,000, and a rating of 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's a great rating, especially for this particular type of movie that is such a subculturalated movie. I think that's really, really nice to see.
It's only got a 3.2 average on Letterboxd, which feels low to me for the kind of movies that people on Letterboxd tend to like.
Yeah. I think, I don't know why that specifically is. Obviously, I could probably just read those reviews, but with it, like, I feel like with the expectation of what this movie is umbrellaed around. And, you not getting a lot of that, I think could be kind of the situation of that. I feel like the closest we might get to what I'm looking for would probably be the new Faces of Death movie, because that does have quite a bit of footage of the original movie in there. So, yeah. We open to a woman breathing heavily while standing in the woods, illuminated by a red glow. Gorgeous, first and foremost. Beautiful.
Gorgeous. The lighting and cinematography in this are both exquisite.
It reminds me of Possession, and the way that this movie is filmed and the way it looks. It's gritty, it's dirty, it's hard to see. Like, and I love it. Like, it's
I would say the camera is less frenetic and less frantic.
Oh yeah.
As compared to parts of Possession, but
yeah,
there are so many parts of Possession where you have a more stationary camera. Well, actually, no, now that I'm thinking about it, there's almost no stationary camera shots in that.
Yeah, I was going to say there's not many stationary cameras. Yeah. It's more so the grittiness is what I was referring to in terms of just like how it looks.
It also evokes similar feelings of dread through the way it communicates visually.
Yes. This is one of those movies that I feel doesn't really need much of a score, which could be a little bit of a damning thing to say, especially for a horror film, but like it plays so well with just its lighting and its mood, and I feel like if this movie didn't have a score, it would be that much more dreadful. I'm glad it does have a score though, because it is gorgeous, that score of this movie. I love the score of this movie.
Oh, I love the score in this. The sound design as well is, yeah. I on a technical level, this movie is firing on all cylinders.
It truly is. It truly, truly is. A loud growl forces her to run, stumbling in the process before she's pulled back. Enid, a film censor, reverses the video to replay it. Afterward, she checks her notes when her colleague Sanderson comes back into the room. She decides that the film needs more cuts to pass it as an 18 due to the eye gouging. Wanting to also see who dragged her away, he doesn't feel that it matters. Which is interesting because like this is like our first kind of like peek underneath the blanket to see like oh, okay, like she has an interesting like way to her. Like she's not completely, I don't want to say like insane because that's not the proper terminology here, but like she has, I guess, this sense of like of a past is probably the best way. Baggage, if you will.
Yeah. But she takes her job very seriously.
Very, very seriously.
But in a way that she understands the importance of still getting art, even difficult art, out into the world. But her line, "I've only trimmed the tiniest bit off the end of the genitals," fucking kills me. It's so good.
Yeah, because the dude is just like, let's keep it all in there. Like it's fine. Like it's fine. We're everyone's gonna be okay. He wants her not to be so thorough with her process, and she shares all the things that she decided to keep in the film, justifying her reasoning to cut other things out of the film. Montage of hyper-violent horror films while playing real interviews from this era talk about the horrid imagery and the phenomenon surrounding them, straight to our title card. And this is great. This opening is really, really strong, especially with the aspects of like the history behind censorship in the UK. It was a big deal. It was a very big deal, especially during the Video Nasty era. And I remember when I got my hands on The Devils. And when I finally got my hands on The Devils, and I hated it so much.
Oh my God.
In the beginning.
Wait, do you still hate it?
No, I definitely do not.
Okay.
I was a college student when I hated this movie.
Got it.
Because
wow.
I
okay.
expected something.
So you watched it a while ago.
Yeah, I watched it a while ago, and when I got my hands on it, because you heard so much about it, on like it was just like, oh, the Devils and blah blah blah. And when I finally watched it, I was like, that was it. I was like that. I was like, all right. But obviously, I was a dumb college kid who was looking for like more like the gorier stuff, and that's not what The Devils is about. Like, you know, it's just. But like when I rewatched The Devils, and I did a double feature with that and Vendetta.
Nice.
Yeah, Benedetta. Thank you. When I did that double feature, I was just like, oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
This movie's fucking incredible.
we did both of those
fantastic.
on Pleasers and Punishers back in November for Nunsploitation November, and it was such a blast to talk about them and just like really
They're so good.
They're
so
them.
good.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're
my
so
God.
good and they're so different, but they do
Yes.
make a great double feature.
Oh, great pairing with those two, because you're right, they are so different, and I think that's why it's such a good pairing. But it makes me think nowadays, like because of this movie, Censor, back to Censor, but because of this movie, it makes me think nowadays of like what are the movies that are kind of being censored now? Like obviously we have all of the more mixtape movies that are just real stuff. Like obviously those, of course, are like very hard to like, I mean, they're not that hard to find, but like they're not going to be produced, right? You know, your August Undergrounds of the world is the type of films that I'm kind of talking about, of like these particular movies that are more provocative, like the Guinea Pig series. Like, you know, I know America did their own Guinea Pig series.
I don't think that went over too well.
No, it was they're all on Tubi, so like you could watch, I think, a majority of those on Tubi. But
Bless
like,
you,
they weren't
Tubi.
great. Yeah.
You know, I think the things these days that get censored, especially here in the US, are queerness. Movies with queerness.
Yeah.
Apparently, there was an overt queer element to that new Pixar movie, Elio, and it got completely nixed. It's things like that, and it's always like to protect the children or whatever. just like it always is. And it's like, they really
From
just
what? Like,
they cannot fathom the idea that most kids don't give a shit. They're like, oh, okay, that person has 2 moms. Cool. There's this post I've seen several times where someone's talking about meeting a kid and telling the kid that like their own child has 2 moms. And this kid goes, why not 3? And like, that's great because it shows kids understanding of like, okay, this isn't that weird.
They're like, this is not a big deal. Like,
right. And it's also a great polyamory joke because then the woman is like, so I'm going to go home and talk to my wife about that right away.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Enid continues her duties before meeting with her team to discuss censoring a particular film. They argue for a moment regarding more regulations before Frasier forces them all back on track, wanting their consensus on Cannibal Carnage. Most reject it, but Sanderson is willing to pass it with a few cuts. Frasier looks to Enid for her opinion. We don't know her opinion because we quick cut to her and Anne watching another film, but Anne bails for her sister's birthday, needing Enid to type up her notes. I get it, Enid's very nice. That would piss me the fuck off. After she finishes working late, she walks through an extreme, like, especially because they're on typewriters, because that would piss me off so badly. I'm just like, what the fuck? Dude, do it in the morning. Like, this is your job too. Like, hell no. After she finishes working late, she walks through an extremely eerie subway tunnel. Noticing a woman with red hair walking in front of her, Enid calls out to her. When the woman turns around, Enid apologizes, believing that she was somebody else. The way that they set up the moments that she has inside of the office made it seem like something was going to happen there.
Yeah, I mean, this is...
It's a very dark office.
But like in the subway, this is the first instance where she sees someone that she thinks is her long lost sister.
Right.
And I think the eeriness of the office, the liminality of the subway, it's all building up to you expecting this to be an explosive moment. And it doesn't do that. And
right.
I'm not a fan of edging in the bedroom, but I am a fan of edging in horror movies. You know, build me up a little bit and then bring it back down and then build me up a little more. You know, it makes it more exciting. It makes you more prone to like immerse yourself into the world and actually get scared by things. And I love that.
No, I think that's very fair. Like it's really eye catching in terms of just how they kind of have most of this set up, because it is something that just makes you feel like something's going to happen in the subway. Like something's for sure going to happen in the subway, because everything in this movie is so dimly lit that everywhere looks like it is a place to be panicked.
It's kind of similar to the way Oz Perkins uses so much negative space in particularly The Black Coat's Daughter and Long Legs, where you just keep expecting something to show up in that negative space and scare the shit out of you. And the fact that it doesn't happen is even more unsettling because it's subverting those expectations and it's keeping you on edge.
Yeah, and I enjoy that. I think that's really well done, especially in this movie as well, because it just makes it feel that something's going to happen. While at home, she listens to Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher giving a speech on the protests, which I would assume it's the 1981 England riots, but I don't know.
I believe that is correct. And also just, in case anyone doesn't know, fuck Margaret Thatcher. She was
the
horrible human being.
She was the worst. Because of her. So, all right, quick history lesson for those who are probably unfamiliar with her. Because of her, she was one of the main reasons why there was so much racial tension with immigration in the 1980s and the reasons why most of these riots were happening. It was terrible. If you guys are wanting to learn more about that, the perfect movie to really discuss of like her situational awareness of the whole aspect of that is His House. That is the reason why the immigration process was fucked the way it was because of her.
That movie. Terrible. I just got goosebumps from you even mentioning that movie. Talk about a fucking powerful political statement movie.
Seriously. Seriously. So like,
with incredible performances too.
So good. So good. But like, and that is probably the best way that I can really explain like the situation that she dealt. And they're still dealing with that shit till this day because of her actions. So yeah, man.
Fuck that lady.
Yeah, she was terrible. Her phone rings and she allows it to go to voicemail. I guess it wasn't even really a voicemail at this point.
No, it's an answering machine.
Like answering machine. Like, it's her mom inviting her to dinner at 9 p.m. That's really late, but that's very early for like the UK, for Europe standards. That was one thing when we went to Spain for our honeymoon, my first time in Europe. And that was one thing that shocked me, where just like a lot of these places for dinner time was like 7 p.m. and stuff like that. And I was just like, I'm sorry, I'm like a widow American. I have dinner at like 4:35, like, and I'm at
just
home
a poor
the rest
little
of the
American,
time,
and I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. McDonald's, it is. So, although Spain McDonald's, not gonna lie, top tier. They had a cafe. It was nice. Lots of wonderful pastries. They even sold empanadas there. Great. Ooh. Yeah. Cut to them at dinner. Enid is in shock while reading a death certificate of her sister. She wonders if they found something, but her parents made the choice that their daughter's disappearance is also her death date. Enid argues with her mother about the day of the disappearance until her father feels as if they would have found her by now, but she believes that her sister was taken and she should still be considered missing. She picks the bed of her nails until her father snaps her out of it. They don't blame her, believing that this is the right decision for them all, allowing her to keep a copy of the death certificate before turning their attention back toward the menu. And this is their way, obviously, of trying to find some sense of closure, especially for Enid, because it sounds like the parents were, closed. they had their closure. They kind of dealt with their grief, and it sounded like they've even probably, obviously we don't know this for sure, because like where we don't get a scene like this, but it sounds like it was a moment where they were like, okay, yeah, let's have a funeral, even though we don't have a body, let's have a funeral.
Do we ever find out the actual time frame of how long ago this happened? Because I got the impression that Enid was around 30. So I imagine this happened like 15 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of like, a little on as well. I think that sounds appropriate to me to make that assumption.
Yeah, I feel like she's around 30. It's been 15, maybe 20 years, something like that.
Yeah, it's been a minute for sure. Yeah, and this is always tough, right? Because like we have lots of like cases like this where it's a lot of missing cases where they just kind of close the case out when they have no more evidence to go off of, right? And it's just so like this is something that is fairly common, I feel like, in terms of like investigations and all of this jazz, but some of them get real weird, and some of them definitely get real weird. I watch a lot of like those YouTube videos that covers like the top 8, blah 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 blah. So like I watch a lot of those. So I'm just like, I was like, oh shit. And like I was like, oh, you repeated that like a year ago, So I'm like that kind of guy. Well, you made this video already. Her mother wonders about her job and if she. I love this scene actually. Her mother wonders about her job and if she could recommend any movies she's seen. And Enid snarls at the fact that her job is a protective service, not entertainment. Back at her place, she moves her certificate off of a box of family mementos, fighting back tears when she sees a picture of her sister and her on a beach. She puts the photo back in the box before imagining her sister running in the woods. Enid is on the tube, because the UK, listening to a couple argue about responsibilities. She notices a newspaper with a headline about the rise of crimes, blaming video nasties. She meets up with Anne to review Extreme Coda. They play the film, not showing it, but you can tell that it is some sort of rape scene. In the break room, Anne is disgusted while this is just another day at work for Enid. She wonders about Enid and if the film got to her. Also, by the way, something I feel like we should mention, because I'm sure some people watching this like, are these movies real? Some of them are, some of them aren't.
Deranged, the movie they talk about, that we'll get to in a bit. That is a real movie.
That is a real movie
that existed, and it's a real movie based on a true crime event.
Yeah, Ed Gein.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is interesting because like we surprisingly have a lot of Ed Gein inspired movies. like that's which is kind of interesting to like think about it retroactively, but I'm just like, yeah, because like there's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there's Psycho, there's Bates Motel, there's which I guess is kind of cheating because that is Psycho, but like then there's Deranged, and there's there's quite a bit of movies that are
inspired
based off
by
Ed
him.
Gein. Yeah. In the break room, Anna's disgusted. Well, this is just another day at work for Enid. She wonders about Enid and if the film got to her, and she admits that amidst of focusing on getting it right. Sanderson comes in to tell her that Fraser needs to see them urgently. They enter his office, shutting the door behind them. Fraser confirms that they passed deranged, bringing up that a man killed his family and ripped off his wife's face to eat it. Sick.
Which is apparently something that happens in Deranged, which makes sense because it's about Ed Gein.
Makes total sense. Have you seen Deranged?
I have not. I'm pretty sure Maeve, my roommate / bestie, owns it because she owns even more movies than I do. We'll get arranged. We'll get arranged. We'll get deranged.
We'll get
watching
arranged
it
to
every
deranged.
now and then. Wow, Jesus. We will get around to watching it at some point.
Yes, I would definitely say if you can check it out. The main thing that is very different is the title itself. It is technically Deranged: Confessions of Necrophilia or Necrophile. It is really interesting the way that this movie is shot, but like what's very interesting is that Deranged came out the exact same year as Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So
Sure did.
So take that for what it's worth, everyone. So both on Video Nasties, so don't worry about that. Both of them were on the Video Nasties. The journalist who he received a call from lets him know that he's linking the killings to Deranged. The odd thing is the journalist knows that it was passed by Sanderson and Enid, which is odd.
Yeah, he should not know that.
So this was also really interesting because this was setting up a very different movie at this point. Like there's a mole inside of the censorship bureau. So like there's a mole in there, and I was very curious off that story, like who leaked that, like you know, we were diving into such a different aspect of like leaking and that being another big problem as well, of like people having access to these tapes. So like we had a lot of different movies that we could have explored in this movie, so I thought that was really, really cool. He's upset that it got past them, but Sanderson explains that it isn't any different from the other material that they've passed. Fraser ignores his response to share the name of the killer, being called the Amnesiac Killer, because he can't remember what happened. Enid zones out thinking about her last time with her sister. She comes back apologizing as Fraser wants them to run him through what happened, reminding them to reject the film if they have any doubts. Cut to, well, isn't that every film then? Cut to Enid at home with the news on talking about the killing. She stops working to listen in on an interview. Her phone rings. Thinking it is her mom, but it is someone calling her to shame her. She remembers when she was interrogated by her parents about Nina, which is the name of her sister. While on the train, Enid reads an article about her profession being dragged due to the murders. She's forced inside her workplace as reporters bombard her with questions. While she's typing, she notices Doug Smart walking into Fraser's office. She crumbles up the paper before heading toward the break room, and Sanderson is loudly talking about the situation, stopping and leaving when she opens the door. She doesn't accept her coworkers defining the situation as unlucky. Back inside the room, she's introduced to Doug, who flirts with her, which is gross.
Oh God, he's not just flirting with her. He is being so lecherous in this moment. It is so obvious that he just wants to like bend her over her desk and take her by force. And she does not respond the way he wants her to, and I think that honestly turns him on more.
Yeah,
which
he
is,
liked that.
He's
like, oh, a challenge. Like,
this actor, Michael Smiley, he is a fantastic actor.
Yes.
And he's so good at playing this kind of like slick, greasy douchebag.
He really, really is. He very much is, because he played Frank in Free Fire, he was also kind of a dick in that. He was in Kill List as well.
Yeah, he's worked with why can't I remember that director's name right now? He's worked with that director several Ben Wheatley.
Ben Wheatley, yeah. It's Michael Smiley. Yeah, he's a very interesting actor. He's probably one of the most well-known actors in this movie, I guess you could probably say as well. But yeah, he is a creep and a half, like towards her. His body language is off, and like he's such a creep. Jesus Christ. Ugh. She boldly declines due to the lack of appeal of being raped and chopped to pieces on screen. He wants her to watch his latest submission. Frasier answers that it's already on her schedule, rushing Doug out of there. Enid and Perkins set up to watch Frederick North's Don't Go in the church. He claims that Frederick's work was once considered quite prolific, but she's never heard of him. The film silently starts with two girls walking in the woods, one hesitant, while the other is aggressively eager, forcing the timid girl to play a game in front of an abandoned cabin, which I guess was the church. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's standing in as like a proxy for a church. It seems like the kind of place where bad things have happened.
Yes, very much so. Like it really felt like it was like like something you would find in like the bayou or something like that, like a old like a swamp church, something like that. After she spins around 3 times, she demands to go inside. It reminds Enid of the day with her sister as she becomes frozen. The girl in the film takes the axe, killing the other girl inside the cabin. Enid can't stomach it, her eyes bobbing above tears as the girl changes into a tall man. Really cool. I wanted to see that movie.
I think that, we're already seeing the parallels here between what happened with Enid and her sister and what this movie is about. And as it goes on, we find out that Frederick North has made several movies that kind of continue this storyline, which I find fascinating.
Yeah.
The second one is called Beastman, and then the movie that he's making toward the end of this film seems to be another sequel. Because the Beast Man is in it. But I like that this sets us up to understand that Enid does not know what happened to her sister. She was there, but she doesn't know. And, her line about, I can't remember if the line already happened, but she says something about the amnesiac killer, about how can you not remember something like that?
Why do you think you can't remember? Yeah.
Right. And it's very poignant because that's exactly what happened to her. And she's still like, she not only has that trauma and the erased memories, but she's also in denial about the fact that she has that trauma and erased memories, even though she's also obsessed with finding her sister.
Right. Do you think she killed her sister?
So I was going to wait to say that until we got further. But yes, I absolutely think that she killed her sister.
I do too.
And that she disposed of the body, hid the body somewhere that no one ever found it.
Yeah.
What I don't know is how Frederick North got a hold of her story unless there was a witness.
Right.
And I find that really fascinating because it kind of ties in a little bit of potential supernatural happenings. Because this could be just Enid fucking losing her shit.
Yeah. None of this could be real.
Right. It could be real. It could be not real. We don't really know. And I kind of like that ambiguity, but I definitely think that she killed her sister and blanked it out.
As like a trauma response or something.
Yeah, we don't know why she killed her sister. We don't know what their relationship really was. And I think that's kind of smart that, we're getting some of Enid's backstory. We're understanding her as a character in the here and now, but we don't get a lot of answers about her youth. And that makes it scarier and more upsetting.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. It is very something that's really interesting beyond this. And well, I'll finish this last little statement here because this is where she does talk about the amnesiac killer. Quick flash to young Enid running in the woods before current Enid rushes to the toilet to throw up. Perkins checks in on her, admitting that the film shook him as well, presenting himself as someone that she can talk to. I think the dude kind of was like filling Enid a little bit.
I do, but I also think he was really trying to be kind.
Be a friend. Yeah,
and when he asks her out for a drink or whatever, it didn't seem like he was hitting on her. It seemed like he was like, hey, you seem like you need a friend to talk to. I'm happy to be that person.
I'm happy to be that person. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But she cuts him off, wondering why the amnesiac killer can't remember, finding it odd. He chops it up to trauma, sharing a study about people's brains crafting imaginary stories to cope, which is great because that's initially what we're seeing here, right? Where we're seeing like all of her aspect of her story and all that stuff kind of play out, which is awesome. After complimenting her work ethic, he invites her for a drink, which she sort of blows off by apologizing about his dead mother and thanking him for the chat. Cut to Enid walking in the subway, pausing when she hears a girl crying. She calls out, following the area from which they came. I guess she made it home since she's talking to her mom on the phone at this point, which is, we got nothing out of that, but it's all right. June is that's her mother. June is concerned about her. Enid tries to hold back tears as she shares the movie that she examined earlier, but she doesn't share the contents of the film. Her mom doesn't want her to get so bent out of shape about her job because that's all it is at the end of the day, a job. Which, I mean, yeah. You do all these things when it comes to guilt and trauma and all of this that you have, and you have this aspect of like choking it down any which way that you can. It's fascinating.
As someone with CPTSD that I didn't really know I had until the end of summer 2024, it has been wild.
Yeah, that must have been such a huge relief for you to get diagnosed with that. Well,
I mean, it was less the diagnosis and more I did acid for the first time, and the pathways in my brain like reconnected to some memories that were deeply buried that I occasionally had traces of them, but I thought they were from dreams, and finding out that those are things that actually happened to me in real life. And I won't get into what happened, but
sure, of course.
Let's just say I don't have a relationship with my mother anymore, and I never will. And it's just coming to terms with the fact not only that like something horrible happened to you or was done to you, but that your brain blinked it out to try to protect you. It's a harrowing thing. And it's really heavy to contend with because there's nothing you can do. You can't get closure on that kind of stuff. All you can do is try to heal from it. And, if whether your brain is repressing it or you are intentionally repressing it, eventually it gets to a point where that is not good. It's not helpful anymore. So I'm glad that I know, and I'm horrified that I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's holding that dialectic.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Enid falls asleep while reading her childhood journey. The static of the TV wakes her up. She goes upstairs, finding the static fizzing on the TV. Well, wakes her up in like quotations, y'all. She's not like actually awake. Finding the static fizzing on the TV, transporting her into the woods from the film. Young Enid calls out to her sister as a beast of a man growls from behind her, and this dude's just like stumbling around like Bigfoot and shit. Like just like, big ass man. It's like, man, we see you. Like
he kind of reminds me of Richard Keel, Jaws from James Bond, and Happy Gilmore's former construction boss.
He does. In her hand is a crumpled up paper from her notes of the film with strands of hair around it. Back at the house, older Enid hears her mom sobbing in the room next door. She calls out to her mom while she sits on the bed. June slowly turns around before shouting that it's all her fault. just pure guilt in this moment. Quick cut to Enid back at work with Perkins watching a cartoon where they're about to guillotine a cat. So this, I feel like we definitely got a lot of violent cartoons back then, but like,
oh yeah,
it was interesting that like the censorship aspect of when it came to cartoons was actually a lot more relaxed just because it was animated.
Right. I think it's the idea that like kids aren't necessarily going to try and recreate something they saw in a cartoon the same way they would if they saw it in something with real people doing it.
Yeah.
Jokes on
Which
them.
is not
I
true.
tried to do things from cartoons.
I tried to do a lot of shit
time,
for cartoons.
but not like cutting anyone's head off or, jumping off a cliff in the desert to see if I made a hole in the ground like Wile E. Coyote. Yeah.
I definitely did jump off of a play structure when I was a kid, though. That was way too high.
Oh, and, I used to love climbing shit and jumping off of it. And, like, I was pretty good at tucking and rolling when I hit the ground. But there were a few times I was not. Mistakes.
I totally almost broke my kneecaps. Like,
oh, shit.
I totally almost broke my kneecaps. Like, my knee was bleeding.
Just from, like, landing?
Just from the actual, like, I guess, reverberation of hitting the ground. Like, my knee was bleeding. And, like, it took this man who was just like, don't do that because you could break your legs. Did
he have one arm? Like, was it the guy from Arrested Development? And that's why you don't jump off play places.
You know Shelby was in Arrested Development?
I do.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Enid goes to see Valerie wanting to find more information on Frederick North, but she doesn't have a list of his films. It was that moment where I was just like, wow, life in that moment would have been so much easier with a Google search. Valerie chuckles that it'll take at least a week, so Enid decides to pack up her shit and leave work, and finds that to be a bit of strange behavior since she normally leaves work late. I also thought it was interesting that Valerie was just like, that's going to take a week since we don't have a name of his films. Okay, but you have a name of him. Do you not like put in the director's name? Like, how do you file them off? Do you just file them by film and not the director's name? I feel like you would file it by the director's name.
It's an odd database setup.
It is an odd database. It's also a dark database.
That's one of those things where I was just like, I'm just gonna let it slide. I don't need to like be.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't have to dive too hard into it. Yeah, I'm fucking it up for myself. She leaves without a word, heading into a video store, noticing the poster of Beastman. It's a pretty corny poster, but it's there.
It is.
She's mesmerized by the cover of The Day the World Began until someone drops off one of the video nasties, which I thought this was interesting because we end up here at the end of the movie, right?
Oh, the movie that she's looking at the cover of? Yeah, it's basically a happy family in an idyllic setting with like a rainbow and all of these beautiful bright colors, and she looks at it so longingly, like, this is what I want. This is what I want my family to be.
Right.
And there's also that, like, slight tinge of horror on her face, knowing that it's never going to be like that.
Right. Exactly. She could force it. She goes over to the clerk, mentioning the banned film. He plays it off, but this, in my opinion, this dude took way too fucking long to just like, brother, she's with the shit. Let's go. Like,
I mean, he's trying to protect himself because
I get
if you were caught distributing these, especially if you were a legitimate business, your business
you could lose
license
everything.
Would be revoked. You could be thrown in jail. You could be fined with some pretty hefty charges.
Yeah, but she caught him. Like, she caught him like red-handed. Like, homegirl came into the whole fucking stores like, yo, yeah, Cannibal Carnage was awesome, thanks, and then like just walks out like she comes in hella loud. But she continues wanting to seek out more of the Frederick North films, bringing up that she's seen his most recent picture. Enid lies that she moved into the area recently since the clerk has never never noticed her before. He finds her appearance too clean to enjoy these types of movies. She proves to him that she's down, explaining a gory scene in a film that he couldn't even handle. He finally caves since she saw that he has cannibal carnage, pulling out a brown paper bag, which I thought was hilarious, with the copy of Asunder.
Did you ever buy porn in the mid 2000s?
No.
You're a couple years younger than me, right? I think.
Yeah, I'm 34. Well,
Okay.
33. I'll be 34.
Okay. So you're like 5-6 years younger than me. So when I turned 18 and I started being able to like go into a magazine shop and buy porn, or go into a full-on adult bookstore, and they give you everything in plain paper bags, and it's like, it's as if people don't know what's in there. It's like when people are out on the street drinking and they have the bottle wrapped in a paper bag, and it's like, yeah, I mean, we still know that's booze.
Like,
man.
we still know you're drinking.
Right.
Yeah. It's like when you go to like a sex shop or something, and they give you it in like a secret bag or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I used to order stuff from like adamandeve.com.
No, really?
I'm really dating myself here. And, it would always say, like,
is
ships
still
in
around? I'm sure it
discreet
is.
packaging. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, that's so funny. Oh, man. She immediately plays the film when she gets home. She's engrossed by the man Tom reading an incantation as Alice looks into the camera, saying, "You need to finally take this message from our sponsors."
Tea with Night here with a very important message in our current age of streaming fatigue. For 25 years, Diabolic DVD has been the source for horror, cult, and other weird cinema for customers around the world. Diabolic offers a one-stop shopping experience for all your favorite big and boutique labels from all corners of the globe, including Cauldron, Arrow, Synapse, Vinegar Syndrome, Mondo Macabro, 88 Films, and so many more. So, whether you're looking for the definitive version of Suspiria or trying to upgrade your crusty old DVD of Cannibal Holocaust, Diabolic is the owner-operated small business choice you have been craving for your physical media needs. And since you're all loyal Nightlight listeners, you can scan this QR code or look for the link in our show notes and enter your email address for a 10% off coupon on your first purchase. Not valid for existing accounts. So, grab those discs, pop some popcorn, and don't forget your nightlight.
And we're back. It's an hour in, and I totally forgot. Sorry, but
Hey, no, it's perfect.
Instead, she's engrossed by the man Tom reading the incantation as Alice looks into the camera, saying, "He's calling for you, and the evil is contagious." Enid rewinds the tape multiple times, pausing it on the woman's eyes, staring out. She looks back and forth at the cover and TV, which is hilarious because, like, in the cover, her eyes are like bleeding, and she's like, like,
But she is so convinced that this actress is secretly her long lost sister, and it's like, they obviously bear a resemblance to one another. But girl, I don't think that's your sister.
Yeah, no, like all redheads look alike. That was like her concept of this. Like all redheads look alike.
Can you be racist against gingers? I'm kidding. You can't.
Gingerist?
You can be gingerist. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Shout out to the gingers out there. She looks back and forth at the cover of and the TV, believing that it's her sister. She fast forwards the film to her being killed or tortured. I guess, I don't know. They didn't really show it. It was hard to tell. But she turns it off and heads to her parents' house. When sitting across from her father, she stares at the photo of her and her sister. She tells them about the actress Alice Lee and how she believes that it's Nina, pulling out a case, wanting him to take a look at it. But he doesn't believe that it's her, yelling about her doing whatever she wants, including the day that she went off with Nina. And June had to like kind of bark him down, where it's just like George, just shut up. After a crying sesh on her way home, Enid is asleep on the couch as the TV buzzes. She has a nightmare about Nina twirling in front of the abandoned cabin. I think about like crying while driving. That just sounds so dangerous to me. But like, I get it.
It's not fun. As someone who has done quite a lot of crying in the car, there have been times I've been crying so hard that I will pull over because I'm like, I cannot see clearly.
I can't. Yeah, you can't see.
Driving.
Yeah, you can't see anything, and
you're
breathing
really heavily, and it's not good. But there is something cathartic about crying in the car and just being able to scream in this like enclosed space that, sure, people can see in, they might be able to hear you, but like no one's gonna fucking do anything about it.
No, they're probably more so going to leave you alone too.
Yeah,
they're like, not going to talk to that person. Keep walking, Timmy. Young Enid stands across from her as Nina shifts into Alice, smiling at her face. The beast man stands by the door, allowing Nina to come into her arms. Enid runs and calls after her before heading inside. Cut to a grown Enid inside the room where they keep the reels at work. She pulls out "Don't Go in the Church," writing down the address on the palm of her hand. Hiding when she hears someone enter the room, she walks to the address, ringing the doorbell until Doug answers with a crowbar in hand. She reminds him of where they met. He apologizes because he's been having some harassment issues before inviting her inside. He admits that he lives alone as Enid notices the room that was in the rape scene of Extreme Coda. And he's like, all like, it's like, oh, why? Yes, it is. And I'm just like, ew.
Yeah,
dude.
It's pretty fucking...
Brother, ew.
He's just like, he's proud that she recognizes his home office as where that was shot.
It's so fucking gross. Like, that was one of the most sickening things where it's just like, ew. Dude, are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
like, what the fuck? He hands her a drink before trying to impress her with an award. Okay. She moves away when she notices a headshot of Alice. He takes her coat and she asks about Frederick. Doug mentions that he's a provocative genius who specifically asks Enid to watch his film. She chugs her scotch as he shares that Frederick is filming a scene for Beastman. This is interesting because obviously Frederick knows. Like, I feel like that's not fake, but I don't understand how he knows, and that's the only thing I'm kind of happy it doesn't get answered, but at the same time, it's just like it makes me think of like, was this a man that just like stalked her? Was he involved? What happened there?
There's a part of me that wonders if he witnessed it, if he was there and he saw it happen, and that's why he puts it into his film, or his films, because this is obviously, a multiple film arc, like I mentioned earlier.
Right.
It's kind of scary to think about because there is no clear answer, and like I said earlier, there's the way this movie uses ambiguity as a way to build up fear is really fucking cool.
Agreed. She wants to meet up with Alice, but he doesn't give a shit about her since she's quote unquote reached her shelf life. And I like when Enid was just like, what does that mean? Like, what the fuck? He approaches her, forcing himself onto her. She stops him, causing him to wrestle her, but he falls on the award that he was gloating about. He gargles as the award enters the back of his skull and into his mouth. She gains enough of her composure, thanking him for the whiskey before leaving.
This death scene is fucking incredible, and it's
so good.
It's one of those like, oh, you wanted to try to rape me, you wanted to try to penetrate me, and I just think of Go-Go and Kill Bill saying, now it is I who penetrates you. Like, he fell right on this award and it went right through the back of his neck and out through his mouth, and it's glorious.
It is. It definitely is. And it is so telling, in the ways that, like, you probably are going to know that, like, what's going to possibly happen next. But, like, he was, in fact, the one who got deep-throated. So, there you go. So, there you go. Enid is extremely vulnerable while sitting at home. She receives a call from Doug cussing her out, which this is like, obviously she's been breaking since the beginning, but like this is the break. Screams and whispered pleas echo throughout the hallway when she heads back into work. She opens the door to Sanderson and Anne viewing the new Beastman. She's in a trance as she notices Alice screaming on the TV. Sanderson grabs her attention and she heads out of Valerie's office. She frantically searches for a file, ignoring Valerie. Finding a file that has Frederick's address. See, look, it didn't take a week. Taking it from her office. On her way out, Anne reads that the amnesiac killer didn't watch the film after all. Enid is immediately met with journalists shouting and yelling for an interview. She drives to the location in Frederick's file, pulling into a desolate location where a mobile home sits. She quietly closes her car door, which is hilarious because her lights are still shining on the mobile home door. While approaching the house, she stops when she hears the distant screams. When she turns around, Debbie is staring at her from the window. And this is great because, like, obviously they're on set, right? And this is so fantastic. And one thing that is also really, really cool about this scene is how slowly we're changing our aspect ratio. Beautifully done.
I was talking with Andy when we were watching this about how many filmmakers in the last 10, 15 years especially have been playing with aspect ratios more. You know, you've got Robert Eggers doing like a little bit of letterboxing on the sides. I can't remember what the actual ratio is he used for The Lighthouse and The Witch.
Yeah, it was a very odd one because it doesn't fit any TV scope.
No. Yeah. And, you know, I love that this is mostly in like a, what's it called when they're on the, I don't know, whatever the terminology is. I feel like I should know this, but I love that this really plays with it. Well, the 4:3 is the like almost square picture, and that was standard for
lots of TV.
CRT televisions, and that's why it became a thing. And letterboxing used to be for showing the full, 16:9 or whatever ratio on a TV like that. So you would get the black bars at the top and the bottom, which, of course, people would complain about, oh, it's making the picture smaller. It's like, well, yeah, but you're also seeing more.
You're seeing
what
more
they filmed
in the scene. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think doing it here is very clever in the way they switch around with it to kind of disorient you. And again, it's that ambiguity. You don't know if you're watching something being filmed within the world of the movie. You don't know if it's in Enid's head or if it's just a creative choice. Like it's well delightful.
Done. So very well done. Debbie comes out of her trailer and Enid questions whether this is the correct film shoot. After a drag, she tells Enid Enid is late and that she'll be doing her makeup. Inside the RV, Debbie gets Enid dressed. She notices the photo of Alice on the wall with the same dress. It was hard for me in this moment because I thought this was Alice because she was also another redhead. I think my theory stands true.
Wait, really? I thought she was blonde.
I don't think so, right? Debbie?
Yeah, Debbie was blonde.
She blonde?
Yeah.
Was she blonde? Oh, okay.
I think it was just the darkness and the like colorful lighting, but I'm pretty sure she was blonde.
No, I just checked one of her stills. She has it's not like bright red, but she has red
corrected.
hair. Erin Shanager is her name. So so like it was a little hard for me in the beginning there to pinpoint who was who. She has her take a seat to do her hair before Frank knocks on the door very violently, by the way. Like, calm down, Frank. What the fuck?
Yeah.
To make sure that it is Enid. Mentioning Frederick being impatient and wanting her in the forest. Enid spots a picture of her in the newspaper at the video shop, which is hilarious because like the paper was already there. Like, I'm sure they probably knew it was you.
Oh, she says you don't look like your picture.
Right.
And it's unclear if she means like a headshot for a different actor or the picture of Enid in the newspaper.
Right. She pushes it on the ground. Frank also mentions Doug's absence, which Debbie finds weird because she's like, oh, he usually never misses the gore scenes. Yeah, dude was just a freak. Outside, she throws blood onto Enid as she wonders what they have planned for Alice. She doesn't understand what she means, taking a picture of her, which would have been funny. It was like, didn't you read the script? Enid walks to the scene where Frederick is waiting for her. He demands that she hurry into the light so he can see her. All she wants to know is where Alice is. Frederick knows that she's guarded because she's scared. She brings up Don't Go in the Church, wanting to know where the idea of the bit with the girls came from. He explains that it was inspired by a true story as he begins filming her. Claiming that all of his stories come from real life, admitting that horror is inside all of them, wanting her to access her darkest impulses if she's going to do this. She cries that she doesn't have any. He forces out a yell, shouting for her to commit, telling her to piss off if she decides against it. She pleads for him to come back, wanting her little sister back. That's all she ever has wanted. That causes him to go back to direct her actions, forcing out her darkest thoughts. She shouts for him to stop, pleading, begging. That's the attitude he wants from her as she enters this next scene. Which is great, because he got it out of her. Her darkest impulses.
True.
Start killing motherfuckers. Enid walks toward the light of the camera, the scene transitioning into her being in front of the cabin. She grabs the axe before entering. Beastman, which is it's so hard with the Beastman thing. It just reminds me of like a superhero or something. Beastman calls her his love while embracing her. Admitting that he's been waiting for her, she's always been in his heart. He pets her head. She reciprocates the embrace, which was interesting. Like, why do you think she did that?
I think she is so lost in this space between fantasy and reality that she is like becoming the character in the movie that Frederick is making. You know, especially the like cyclical nature of it, the fact that this is a story based on something that happened between her and her sister, and she has now made her way into acting in it. I think she just doesn't really know what to do.
Yeah, I was very curious about this, and I feel like your explanation is right. She's just in it, you know, like she's lost in it. Enid is about to strike him in the back, but he turns around with Alice being held by her hair. He calls for her to let out what's evil inside her. She goes up to him, forcing Charles, the person who plays Beastman, to drop character, shouting that this isn't in the script as she strikes him with the axe. Well, it's honestly Frederick's fault for putting a real axe on set, but hey. His head smashes into the TV, and his chest opens up. His organ speaks that he is the horror. I think that was supposed to be his heart, but
I'm not sure, but it was like, you know, from his axe wound, which of course looks very labial, and then like a small version of his face appears there and says, I am the horror. And it's one of those moments where you're like, what the fuck? But it's also awesome.
It's wild. Yeah, it's wild. This I did not expect the unexpected body horror, which is weird to say it like that. But like it was unexpected. And I was like, fuck, that's awesome. It reminds me of like the way it looked. It kind of looked like one of those like fuglies or whatever they're called. You know what I'm talking about? I think that's what they're called. Fuglies? Now I gotta look it up. Am I lying? Fugler. Fugler.
I have no idea what the fuck that is.
Yeah, they're called fugglers. They're called, that's short for funny, ugly monsters.
Are they like Labubu's?
Yeah, they are.
I hate Labubu's. I'm sorry, everybody. If you like Labubu's, that's fine. I just think they're creepy.
They have like real teeth.
Ew.
Yeah,
what?
They don't have like real teeth, but it looks like that's real teeth. Like I'll show you. I'll show you one of the. I'll show you the fuglies. Right. I'll show everybody. Actually, I'll share my screen for everyone involved. Like, well, this is a
You're
fucking
gonna make
video
me
podcast.
Edit this in there.
No, this is a video podcast. You're good. You don't have to edit anything. This right here, that's a fugler.
Is that supposed to be Patrick?
Who you calling Pinhead? Yeah.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Your voice acting is so good.
Thank you. Yeah, Amanda on Pleasers and Punishers has been telling me that I should do like
your impersonations
erotic audiobooks. which I feel like would be pretty funny.
Yeah. Huh. I can see it. Enid drives the axe multiple times into Charles until Frederick yells "cut," which is hilarious. Like, where were you? Like, what the fuck? She comes back to reality. Were you not watching the scene as it was like, whatever? She comes back to reality as the crew starts throwing up and shit. Frederick is in shock, stumbling over his words. She blames him for doing this. I agree, Enid. He had a real axe on set, chopping his head off before running after Alice. Enid chases her into a clearing, which was very Switchblade romance, which I loved. Enid chases her into a clearing where Alice sobs for her to get away. She explains that this was all to protect her, as she truly believes that this woman is her sister. Alice exclaims that she already has a sister, and it isn't you! And then she runs off, leaving Enid sobbing and pleading that she has to be her. The screen flickers as she pulls out a remote. After pressing the button, she's back in the movie, where Alice comes back out with a smile on her face. Enid smiles, calling her Nina, as she admits that she came back to save her, reaching out to Enid so they can go home. Both of them are running and giggling in the forest. Cut to them driving in a car as a reporter claims that video nasties have all been abolished and Britain is now safe.
Crime rate has dropped to 0.
0. Flickers in the screen show Alice in agony as Enid continues driving underneath the rainbow. Everything is absolutely perfect when they make it to her parents' house, as Enid mouths that she found her. George and June hug Nina, flickers to Alice crying out for them to save her as they stare in fearful shock. Enid approaches them, stopping to break the fourth wall and laugh. Then credits.
Oh.
Yeah.
They,
I like how also they eject the tape for the credits. That was such a clever.
Very clever. So okay, I know that you gave this 3 stars. You felt like this was still just okay. Do you feel differently after talking with me about it?
Not necessarily. Like, there's a lot to love with this movie. I don't think I would watch it again. I'll say it like this. I enjoy talking about this movie more than I enjoyed watching it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Well, hey, I'm glad we got to talk about it.
Me too. And I'm glad you enjoyed it, because like there's not much really of a bad thing for me to say about the movie itself. Like, I don't think it's a bad movie by any means, and I could see why people would rate it highly. It's just, for me, it wasn't what I think I wanted. That's all.
Yeah. That's totally fair.
Yeah, for a movie about the video nasties, I think I wanted it to be centered around the video nasties.
That is totally understandable, and I feel like I'm trying to remember if there's a movie that really does that. But there's something about the unexpected nature of this that it isn't just about the video nasties that I kind of like, because again, like I mentioned earlier, that subversion of expectations that kind of keeps you on your toes and makes it so you don't really know what's going to happen. And I really enjoy that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I definitely had a lot of fun with it, but yeah, I think that's just how I initially felt overall with the rest of it, but that's okay. I liked it still enough. I liked it enough. But I do have a few movie facts for us here.
Movie facts?
At 1 hour and 1 minute and 50 seconds, when Enid is in the camper, the 2 upper photographs she sees are pinched onto a poster of the famous Francisco Goya's painting, Saturn Devouring His Son. Cool. That's fun. Due to the loophole in UK law-affecting media prior to the new act in 1984, when the British Board of Film Censors, or the BBFC, was renamed the British Board of Film Classification, films released on video did not have to be certified or censored, hence many so-called video nasties were released onto the market, causing outrage in various quarters. After September 1st of 1985, all video releases also had to comply with the act and be submitted by classification by the BBFC. I'm glad that this was something that was announced, because a lot of people get stuck on the aspect of banned, like, oh, this was banned, when a lot of movies in the video nasties were technically not banned. They really were just censored. So that was something that I'm glad that this actually kind of cleared up, because that was something I did want to bring up as well, because a lot of video nasties you could see. There were still films that were banned, like Cannibal Holocaust was banned for years. And same with The Devils and so on and so forth. One that was not a video nasty, but that was banned for a really long time was Ghostwatch. But stuff like that.
Yeah, which is so crazy to me.
Oh, it being banned?
Yeah. I just fucking love that movie.
I love Ghostwatch. I love Ghostwatch. Yeah. But yeah, it was interesting. Prano Bailey Bond said in an interview that she had the idea for Censor around 2012. Quote, I was reading an article about Hammer Horror, which, for those unfamiliar with Hammer films, they were the films that initially did their versions of like Dracula, The Mummy, and so on and so forth. In my opinion, Hammer is way better than Universal.
Completely agreed. Also,
thank you.
if you want a great, slightly campy, pretty sapphic Hammer vampire film, go watch The Vampire Lovers. Peter Cushing's in it. He's amazing. Ingrid Pitt. Oh my God. If you don't know who Ingrid Pitt is, get ready to meet your new crush.
Yeah, do yourself a favor. Go get educated. Which looked at how film censors worked in that period. It made me think, if violent images aren't meant to make us lose control, what prevents the censor from doing that? It was that hypocrisy of thinking, I can watch this, but if you watch it, you're going to go out and shoot someone, end quote. Man, shout out to her and just going out and making this fucking movie. But we definitely want to know what you think about this movie as well, because we want to keep the conversation going. Let us know what you think about Censor, either in Spotify or YouTube comments or on Patreon or on Discord. There's lots of places that you can continue the conversation and continue talking to us about Censor, and we definitely want to know it all. But before we go ahead and talk about what the next film is going to be, we have to give a very special shout out to our patrons over on patreon.com/nightlightpod. That's night with a K. If you would like to get your name shouted out on the show, please head over to patreon.com /nightlightpod. That's with a K, once again, to learn more.
What's up, my spookalicious babes? Oh, that's a new one. Let me know what you think. Welcome to this week's shout outs. Thank you so much for supporting the boys in the pod. This week, very special shout out to Michael, Avery, aka Southern Night, aka NyQuil when she falls asleep on watch parties, Kevin, aka my wedding date, Gia, sorry, I'm sick, Gia, Allison, myself, Farah, my Twilight bestie, Sergio, I love your name, Jasmine, Kadrea, Firefly, Raquel, Dim, my pit buddy, Johnny, our favorite streamer, Kelly, Rain, our marketing manager, Carrie, Chantal, Joe, our other favorite streamer. Check us out on Patreon and join our Hellfire tier if you would also like a specialized shout out. Sick or not sick, it will be awesome, I promise. I love you so much. Thank you for your support, and we love you so much.
Thank you so much for supporting the show. We really, truly appreciate it. It helps us keep the lights on. It helps us feed our amazing editor, who is also on the show,
That's
May.
me! Please! I'm poor!
She wants money! so it definitely helps a ton. So thank you all so much for supporting the dream. This is honestly a dream come true of us being able to even do this for so long. 7 years is a very long time, and it's all because of you guys being able to support the show. So thank you so much for supporting the show. But the next film that we are going to be covering is going to be none other than Frogman. I am so excited.
I have not seen that.
You haven't seen that? Oh man, it is so good. I am excited for Freddie to cover it. I'm really bummed that I'm not going to be here to cover it with him, but that is okay. But this was Nightlight, a horror movie podcast. I was one of your hosts, Prince, also known as Head Knight. Alongside me, we had May.
Always being weird.
Whoa!
I panicked in the moment. I couldn't think of anything else. I almost went always horny, and I was like,
All right. With your help, we can reach more ghoulish nights with your recommendation for the show. If your podcast app allows you to rate the show, consider us, give us a 5-star rating, or go ahead and like us and subscribe on YouTube as well, because we could say that now. For extra horror-related content, head over to patreon.com/nightlightpod. That's night with a what?
Okay.
And remember, everybody, don't forget your nightlight.